Steph Curry has always tried his best to keep our attention on what he does on the basketball court.
There's different types of commitments at different levels.
However, some recent crazy stories about his parents have brought his personal life under the spotlight like never before, and the whole thing is pretty bizarre.
Each stage, different things fuel the marriage.
After more than 30 years together, Dell and Sonia Curry decided to get divorced in 2021. At the time, they gave a statement to People magazine to explain their choice. The statement said that after exploring a trial separation over the past years and after much thoughtful consideration, they had decided to end their marriage. It went on to say that they both felt that the decision came with a great deal of sadness, and that their focus and desire was for their family's continued happiness. Obviously, this would be pretty major news in anybody's life, but for a famous athlete like Steph, all the extra attention that came with it must have been pretty overwhelming, especially after a lot of people online started commenting on how attractive his mom was very soon after she became single. Some even joked about trying to convince Drake to ask her out on a date. However, it wasn't long before Sonia put herself back on the dating scene. In August 2021, it was revealed that she had a new boyfriend already. But what was so insane about the announcement was that it was made by Steph's dad, Dell, who had a lot more to add. In documents obtained by TMZ, Dell claimed that Sonia was dating former NFL player Steven Johnson. In fact, Dell claimed that Sonia had actually cheated on him with Steven while they were still married. We read in the documents that Dell said that Sonia began her extramarital affair during the marriage and prior to the date of separation. Dell went on to accuse Sonia of lying to him each time she cheated on him. He then argued that he should not need to pay Sonia alimony following their divorce because she was already living with Steven. But it turned out that this was all just the start of the drama between Steph's mom and dad, as their divorce got pretty ugly. Sonia hit back at Dell's comments by denying his claim that she was living with Steven. Instead, she said that she was living on her own after being forced out of the family home by Dell. Although she did confirm in court that she was now in another relationship, she also denied that she had cheated on Dell, and she said that her relationship had only started months after she and Dell agreed to legally separate in 2020. After defending herself, Sonia then went on the attack, and what she said was shocking. She said it was actually Dell who had cheated on her in their marriage, and she also said that it was an open secret that he had hooked up with several different women over the years. The couple, who had been married since 1988, were now becoming nearly as famous as their son thanks to the weird nature of their breakup. However, there were much weirder developments yet to come. Obviously, the whole situation was already pretty awkward, and it seemed like Sonia had quickly moved on with the man Dell accused her of cheating on him with. But things became a whole lot more awkward when news dropped about Dell's own love life, and what we found out was wild. It turned out that Dell had also started to move on from the divorce, and we all saw who he had moved on with at the 2022 NBA Finals, and everyone watching was amazed by what they saw. Sonia and Steven attended the event together. Elsewhere in the audience, Dell sat with his new girlfriend, Nikki Smith. It turned out that both parents' new partners actually knew each other really well. An old photo of Nikki and Steven popped up on social media that seemed to show that Nikki and Steven actually used to be married to each other. Although one of the biggest events in sport was unfolding before our eyes, this news was the only thing anybody was talking about. The news spread like wildfire online, and it was soon the subject of a lot of mockery. Basically, it looked like Sonia and Dell had just gotten into wife swapping, and Twitter was soon lit up with people joking about it. One user tweeted that Steph was out there trying to win a title while his parents were running a swingers club in the stands. He went on to tell Sonia and Dell to take that mess home and let Steph focus. There were plenty more people who joined in the fun, and shockingly, even Steph's own peers got in on the act. Former player Gilbert Arenas commented on the whole messy situation. He was watching the game with Tracy McGrady and Mac Barnes. While laughing at what they saw in the stands, they described the couple's behavior as crazy, and they talked about a game earlier in the season when Sonia was spotting sitting in Stefan's lap at the side of the court. Gilbert joked about a wife swap being in a season trade, before declaring in a shocked voice that he did not know that Steph's parents had both hooked up with another former couple. While reporting on the scandal, Babel Sports described the so-called spouse swap as taking pettiness to a whole new level. They seem to suggest that Dell took Nikki to the game out of spite. However, it's not known if this was the case or if they are in a genuine relationship with each other. Another crazy detail about the situation is that Dell and Steven were actually old college buddies. They both attended Virginia Tech around the same time, and they both actually used to go and watch Steph's Duke games together. Obviously, seeing his parents at the finals with new dates must have been a weird feeling for Steph. However, he didn't seem to let it get to him, as he put on a masterclass performance performance that day. He was even seen at one point hugging his mom before fist bumping her new boyfriend. So he clearly wanted to try and keep things as normal as possible. Despite that, he has not shied away from admitting that things were now different for him. He opened up about his parents' separation in an interview with The Ringer. He confessed that the change had been difficult for him and that there was a big difference now when it came to sharing his greatest moments with his mom and dad individually instead of as a couple. However, Steph has managed to find a way to work through it. He told The Ringer that he had to make sure that he was in those moments with both of them and not make it a whole other thing. Steph said that this was how he chose to approach it because it was challenging. However, he did add that he could have chosen a different approach. He could have decided to be mad at his parents for what they had done and tell them that they had effed this all up. However, the reason he believed he was able to stay calm was actually because of how they raised him. So although he definitely felt a little uneasy about seeing his parents in their new dynamic, it was because of them that he could handle it. However, it would be totally understandable if he was not able to do this. Sonia and Del have always been a constant presence at Steph's games together. So for him to see them at the games now with a lot of bad blood and drama attached to it must be completely different. But this display during the game showed that he was willing to do what he had to do to keep his relationship with both parents healthy and happy. After winning the game and sharing an emotional celebration with Sonia, it was reported that Steph and his dad partied together all night long. So no matter how badly Sonia and Del's relationship with each other might crumble, it looks like Steph will still be there for both them. But what do you guys think? Could Sonia and Del really have been involved in wife swapping, or do you think Del was just being petty? Let me know in the comments below.